Okay, hello. This is my army as it stands right now. I made a small adjustment from my last video. I'm still kind of working the list because I decided to switch from the strike force I was using. What was it called? I was using one that gave me a +1 strength to my ranged weapons within 12 inches. And with that, there were two pieces of character war gear I was using. But I decided that almost all the guns, except for the las cannons, which are never going to shoot from within 12 inches, uh, all the guns are plasma pistols or melta guns. So, yeah, definitely the +1 would probably help those guys in the back because they'll probably be tackling some bigger, heavier stuff. But most of the guns don't really need the +1 because odds are they're going to be fired at enemy infantry anyway, and they're probably going to wound on twos regardless. So I decided to switch back to these Sons of Sanguinius, and whatever it's called, the Sons of Sanguinius rules, because they give a +1 to the strength of the melee weapons and a extra attack. And I think since this is an assault focused army, that was probably the better way to go. So I'm going to try that when I play this in 2 weeks. So what that left me with was a hole of about 40 points when I lost those two pieces of war gear from that strike element. So I was going to throw in a 40-point inquisitorial henchman squad just to use as a bubble wrap. But I decided that I might try to get something a little more effective, a little more powerful. So what I did was I dropped the apothecary. I had intentionally decided to put the apothecary in here to help keep the devastators alive, so they can be more effective longer. But really, if anybody with all the firepower in this game wants to kill a 5-man squad, they're going to kill it in one turn. So I didn't really think that, without having any real defenses, it's just a power armor 5-man squad. So I didn't really think the apothecary would be that good of a value there. So I dropped him, and along with those 40 points, I was able to get myself a Reaver squad. I know these are not Reavers; these are Incursors, I think. But they're in Phobos armor, so the difference is minimal. So I'm going to use those guys. Plus, I'm running out of time, and I need to get my army ready to play. So rather than paint a whole another new squad, I'm just going to use these as my Reavers, and go from there. I can't imagine that would be a problem. So here's what I have now. Why Reavers? Well, they have the ability to deep strike when you give them their grav shoots. And they have a really cool kind of fear factor, a fear aura. So the idea is to deep strike them or place them central to the board to go along with this, Dante. Because he also has a fear factor with his mask as well as his boys. So there's like a unique kind of fear factor that's forcing battle shock tests at -2. So that, I don't know how well that will play out, but that seems kind of useful. Um, Dudes that aren't able to act. That would kind of be good, I think. So we're gonna see how that goes. I'm gonna see if I can make them work. At the very least, for the deep strike factor, I can drop them anywhere I want on the board. Again, this army is all about mobility and being where the enemy is not. So I can just drop them behind enemy lines somewhere and take table corners for all it's worth. They're a fairly inexpensive unit to do that. And they give me a lot of kind of functionality. So that's what we're at now. I have 3 squads of assault intercessors. You can see the difference here in painting, right? Finished on the left, base coated on the right. a lot more work to do on that squad there. But I have 3 squads of these guys. I have an a secondary priest and a captain. Those guys I can attach to any of those assault units, the assault intercessors, or either of my Vanguard vet squads. These guys are the yellow helmets, and that white helmet there. Don't know really what I'll do with them, but the basic intention is just to fly those guys out, spread them out all over the table, and just take objectives. 2 scout squads. They need some work. Infiltrate those boys. Control no man's land. Push back their infiltrators, and then get them off the table, because they have a really great power where they can go off the table and then come back on. A nasty 10-man Death Company squad with a chaplain. Yeah, I really missed that power. He had a war gear that turned his Crozius into a strength 9 weapon. Which was brutal. But whatever. He's with 10 Death Company with power fists. So there's a lot of strength happening there. 3 Outriders. Their job is to spread out, take objectives. Along with my man here in the 4-wheeler. Get him up there into the center even. He's small. He can hide. He's low. You can get him behind terrain, out of line of sight, and he can just sit there near objectives. And of course my plasma shooters here. So that's my thought process here for this army. 1995 points. I think there's a data slate coming out, a balanced data slate. Maybe they'll even reduce some of the points of these units more. Hopefully I won't get nerfed or something. Hopefully they won't take away my 10-man Death Company Power Fist squad. The Fisters. That would be terrible. I'll be so upset. All right, well, let me know what you think in the comments below. And I'm definitely trying to put some effort in here and rebuild my channel. So the likes and the subs always help. Trying to bring it back. Bring back the Jawaballs. All right, more to come.